INFJ, 9 causes of your single status. Despite being introverts, INFJs place a high value on deep, loving connections. They want for profound intellectual and emotional ties. Proximity or simply a few common interests won't do. When it comes to dating and falling in love, this is especially true. INFJs may consequently have a particularly difficult time finding Mr. or Mrs. Right. INFJs aren't the only Myers-Briggs personality type who crave intense connections. Other types can also have a difficult time finding the one. Even yet, it's a frequent INFJ experience, and as an INFJ myself, I know I have, we surely feel the loneliness of it intensely. Because of this, I want to concentrate on us introverted, intuitive, feeling judgers in this piece. Here are 9 explanations for why you might still be single. Dear INFJ, it isn't always a terrible thing. Why you're still single, INFJ. You won't compromise. Physical allure is wonderful. A sense of humor, common interests, and ambitions are also important. These could be the beginnings of a fulfilling love relationship for some people. But the INFJ is an exception. INFJs yearn for profound human connections. In all honesty, people are searching for their soulmate when it comes to love. This does not imply that INFJs believe in the one or even in soulmates, but it does indicate that they are looking for a very close mental, emotional, and spiritual bond. They long for a confidante with whom they can fully open up. They yearn to be understood by someone who awakens their soaring idealism and imagination and grabs their inner passionate side. They are highly picky about who they allow into their lives since they are introverts who don't readily share themselves with others. One solid relationship is all that is needed for an INFJ to prosper in life. INFJs therefore won't accept anything less than wonderful in their romantic relationships, which for many of us are the most important relationships we have. 2. You're holding out for someone else to initiate contact. INFJs may not just be single due to their high standards. The next one relates to their tendency toward introversion. To be honest, a lot of INFJs tend to wait for others to initiate contact, to introduce oneself, send the first text message, to plan the initial meeting. The issue isn't that INFJs are timid. Well, sometimes we are. Everyone experiences fear occasionally. Instead, we have a tendency to be very sensitive and conscientious. Nobody wants to be burdened by us. Since we value solitude and tranquility so highly, we don't want to annoy anyone. It is true that INFJs enjoy being chased. We can then be certain that we are really, genuinely wanted. However, occasionally that results in our not acting when we ought to. 3. You desire a companion who can discuss your interests. INFJs are the kings and queens of specialized interests. The arts or writing, New Age spirituality, or psychology. We desire a companion who can discuss these interests with us because they help define who we are. A person who reads as much experimental fanfiction as we do could be hard to come by, I guess. Or the author. However, it helps a lot if our partner is able to compete with us on our preferred intellectual level. They most likely share many of our needs and values, thus this is said. It also means that nothing will ever grow boring. 4. You avoid being casual. INFJs can take dating too seriously. I know because I've done it. We don't often do casual as a result. One-night stands and brief liaisons. Most likely not. INFJs like to work toward goals all the time. If it's pointless, what's the point? 5. You can see through lies and deception, which, in the modern dating scene, is highly significant. It's so simple to sneak about or pose as someone else thanks to apps and web services. This is an INFJ superpower. They pick up on things that aren't expressed and see what others are trying to cover up. They have astonishing accuracy when interpreting facial expressions, tone of speech, and body language. They may not always be accurate, but trust me when I say you wouldn't want to try them. They can tell when someone is lying or hiding something, which rules out a lot of people who may make good partners. 6. You enjoy being by yourself. Let's face it. Extroverted introverts is a term used to describe INFJs. They frequently misunderstood for extroverts due to their genuine interest in and concern for people. After studying these strange beings known as humans for years, many INFJs have mastered great social skills. INFJs, however, are genuine introverts who adore their alone time. You also meet fewer people when you'd prefer stay home and read a book than go out to pubs and parties. 7. Sometimes you end up with toxic and cunning assholes. The nice INFJs. Extremely lovely, kind of. Their kindness can sometimes get in the way of things. Those of us who are kind are sought after by toxic, narcissistic, manipulative, psychopathic, or simply bad people. Okay, maybe not always consciously, but at least subconsciously. Again, I've been there. They are aware that they can get what they want from us. When we ought to say no, we say yes. When we ought to speak up, we fail to do so. INFJ, you can still be single merely because you've encountered some undesirable individuals. There is nothing wrong with ending these relationships abruptly. 8. It takes some time for you to feel at ease with someone. I'm not very good on first dates. I'll guess that many INFJs share the same traits. INFJs are private people despite having a strong desire for close relationships and a love of intimate dialogues. Highly private, sort of. We don't open up much about our thoughts and feelings to other people. We rarely express our true feelings. What you see is only the protruding tip of a much larger iceberg. Much more is hidden beneath. As a result, we may appear distant, quiet, or occasionally disinterested or bored. Our true, authentic, eccentric characters must develop over time. And this may spell the end for first dates. Yes, practically all introverts engage in this to a certain degree. I'm trying to emphasize that despite being labeled as extroverted introverts, INFJs are not an exception. Really, all we need is a little bit of time to get to know one another. That's where those acquired INFJ social abilities can be useful up until that point. Being upfront and saying things like, I'm an introvert, so I need extra time to open up, but I promise it'll be worth it, might also be helpful. 9. You plunge far. The majority of people you encounter won't be deep dives, let's face it. The heady INFJ may occasionally find folks who accept life at face value to be refreshing. Cling to them when you come across someone who gives you that feeling. However, it's more probable that you'll prefer someone who is interested in life's more profound parts. Arts, current affairs, creativity, societal issues, personal difficulties, dark spheres. A whole picture what everything implies. Finding someone who appeals to both your brains and your heart is not arrogant. Hello, INFJ, I am aware that dating may be challenging, particularly for sensitive, emotional introverts. I'm on your side.